I'm so stoked to be here with my friends, Mark and Tommy from Merchant Words today. And they have created this really cool tool. They sent it to me a little while ago, and it's for automatically creating your listings using AI. And let me tell you guys, I have tried a lot of AI tools and they're really hit or miss, right? They're kind of all over the place, how good or bad they are, right? I recently fell in love. You guys know I fell in love with Jarvis. Jarvis was a really good AI tool. And so when I tried these guys' tool, I thought, okay, I trust Merchant Word for like keywords and stuff like that, but I don't know about this listing tool. And Jarvis does some kind of listing stuff too. But what these guys have done with this tool is so cool because it like pulls in your listings, the existing information, and like basically helps you make them wow. So whether you have an existing listing or you want to pull in like your competitors' listings and use that, like it's so cool what they've designed here. And I was really wowed by not only the ability of AI to create really good copy, but also the ability to add in SEO and keywords, because you don't usually get both. So I love what you guys have created here. And thank you so much for coming on the show today to show everybody what this tool is all about. And I can see this being so effective, especially for folks that have like a huge catalog and want to update their listings on a regular basis or write new listings. And even though I'm a copywriter and you might put me out of business, I'm glad I have other skills too. So it's going to be okay. I don't have a scarcity mindset. Let's do it. So
Yeah, amazing.
So I'd love to just start before we get into the demo. Everyone, please say hi in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. But let's start just learning a little bit more about you guys and what you do. Tommy, why don't you start?
Sure. My name is Tommy Berenger. I here Merchant Words, head of the product side of things. And my e-commerce background is I've been selling on Amazon since about 2014. And I also run our podcast, our Sell, Rank, Win podcast. So that's what I do.
Awesome. Fellow podcast host. I love it. What about you, Mark?
Hey, Mark Liu, President and General Manager of Merchant Words. Been in the e-commerce game, started back in 2016 when I joined Merchant Words, actually. Been building startups for 18 years almost now. George, who's the founder and CEO, he started this company back in 2013, around 2016, as it was taking off. He needed somebody kind of help him build out the business. And so it's basically what I do from day-to-day basis. And it's great to be here. Really nice to meet you, and hope to show you that our job is actually not to put you out of a job as a copywriter, but to actually free up some more time for you to grow your business. So we're hoping to share a lot more of those insights with you.
I love it. Well, I've gotten to try your tool and it's really, really fun, really cool. And I will definitely be adding it to my copywriting resources. I've already added it, but yeah, it's great. Nothing wrong with helping a copywriter along, right? Like nothing wrong with having really great resources to help us do our jobs even better. You still have that market research you should be doing besides using your tools. On top of it, to really get the language and the understanding of the audience there. But at the same time, if you can use tools like this, so great. So love having you guys on. Shall we get into a little demo?
Yeah, and while Tommy's queuing it up, if I could just kind of speak a little bit about how this came to fruition.
Yeah.
So like I said, I started back in 2016, and as we would go to various conferences for e-commerce. Just the theme just kind of kept coming up and up, and it's like, I need to update my listings. I know I need to add more keywords. I know, but I just don't have the time for it. And so we had kind of taken it upon ourselves to figure out, okay, well, we're technologists. How do we kind of get the most out of this here? And how do we build something that will help people scale up their operations? And at the time, AI was like even before its infancy, it was still just kind of like this thing where people were trying to figure out what to do there, and how to build systems out of it. So definitely wasn't in a place where we could apply it to something with language. But nonetheless, over the years, the need kept coming up for, we want to we want to we want to be able to create listings at scale, and so we built a listing writing business out of this. We called it Listing Advisor, and so we use that as an opportunity not only to dive in and build a business, but also just like to really understand like the day-to-day of writing. So we built up a staff, we built up the ability to scale this thing, and we started to do to automate the keyword research aspect of it, because we're sitting on mountains of data. And so essentially what we did is, like, over the years we started to automate that. We just kept chipping away at the problem, and then when COVID hit, we had a little time on our hands. And so we started hacking together this thing, and one thing led to another, and so overall, like, we had managed to take this mountain of data we've been compiling over the past almost 10 years now, feed it into this machine, and start to generate listings that, as you're saying, have keywords attached to them. So that's what we have today. It's changing fast. So those of you that are watching this on replay, the UI may be looking differently, and actually it's a good thing, because we're looking for as much feedback as we can get on this. And so what I'd like to do is I'll just jump in and take a look at what the how to build a listing, and then we'll look at the listing itself, if that works.
Amazing. Sounds good. Well, I'm going to share the screen here, and we can see here. What do we have? We've got you guys starting a new listing here. So this is when you're getting into PowerListing.com and checking it out. So why don't you guys walk us through?
So this is where you are when you start your listing. So when you get into your account, you want to click on the new button there, or you already be landed here on the page. And I've already created this listing. So it's kind of like those cooking shows, you go through the process of making it, and then at the end, something's already done. So I already have something already done on the next tab. So for the interest of time, and not to bore you as I'm typing and kind of talking to myself as I'm doing this, I cloned this listing, and that's why there is information here on the side. So this side on the right will be blank when you start creating a listing. But let's just get to the beginning of this here. So as you can see, there are 9 steps here. First step, very easy, just to start a new listing, just give the project a name. You can select from all of these marketplaces that we have data for, and then just click next.
Well, that's really cool that you have all those different marketplaces. Now,
Yeah.
does
Yes.
that include the language in that marketplace?
It does.
And the data. So not only do you get listings in Spanish, French, Italian, German, and English, but it's all based off of data from those specific Amazon marketplaces.
Wow. So the
Yeah.
keywords are really good in those languages too, which is the big struggle, right? Because a lot of people will just use like Google Translate, and that doesn't work at all, right? So that's why we have friends that translate listings for you with keyword rich descriptions. So I love that you guys have incorporated that. So cool. I can see this being so useful beyond, in the English language. Very good.
Thanks.
Yeah, it is very useful for some of our customers that are outside of the US as well, or just selling in the US that are from outside that don't speak the language, like you were saying. So here I am, step 2, just give your brand name here, your registered brand name. If it's not registered, it's okay. I just put brand, click next, and then the type of product. So what are your focus keywords here? So for this product, it's a black N95 mask. So I just put black N95 mask. Then you want to click next.
And so what you're putting in is the type of product. Does that have any bearing on the data that you get back, or is that just kind of for you to know?
Well, this helps to pull back some data as well.
So you do want to accurately describe the product here.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and this also is think about it as like the primary keyword. Like, what are you selling? Because this is going to show up in your title. Like when we construct the titles for you, this is going to be like the first thing. So what is it that you're selling?
And
Cool.
don't fret if it's something, you need to change later on. You'll see where you can change and manipulate the listing if you need to. All right. Go to the next one here. So just plug in your ASIN. If you don't have an ASIN, that's okay. Just leave it blank. A recommendation is to, if you want to put in, your closely related competitor here, you can do that as well. Or you can leave it blank if you don't have an ASIN yet. Click next. And then from that ASIN, we're going to pull back all of the similar products. So all the products that are closely related to your product, that have the most overlap, that are sharing the most page one keywords. So all of these products here.
This part just made me, like, when I was using this myself, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, I love how I can see the images, the titles. It's amazing.
Awesome. Cool. I'm so glad you like that part for sure.
Yeah, we're trying to cut down and save as much time as possible so we can get all the keywords and all the products for you up front, and then you're off to the races, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So then here you want to select, and also if you have some ASINs, first before I do this, if you have some ASINs, some competitor ASINs that you already know about, you can just manually enter them in here. I know it's kind of hidden down here at the bottom, but if you do have a list of ASINs, you can just click here and then plug them in. But we also surface these, so these competitor ASINs as well, which I've already selected here on the right, so I'm not going to click on them. But these are the competitor ASINs that I've selected on the right. And you want to select the ones that are the closest to your product, because we're going to be pulling data from these listings as well as from the keywords as well. So we're pulling from both sides, so we're getting the best of both worlds. And you want to make sure it is the hyper relevant to your product, because it's going to give your listing, our AI, better information to spit out a better listing for you. That is
Hey, Tommy.
What's that?
Would you mind just typing in? Would you mind just showing how the keyword search works as well? Because we know that what we're doing is we're taking the primary keyword focus keyword that you entered in the previous step number 3, and if there are other products that are showing up, so maybe you want to take out black, or you can just even do KN95 mask, just to show that basically what we're doing is we allow you to search for products. Like if the initial data set that we return, there are only kind of a few that you feel like are relevant, you can actually go ahead and search, and what that will do is that'll pull back a new set of products for you, and you can rinse and repeat until you get the right set of ASINs to pull into a sample set for us.
Yeah, so if those ASINs that come up aren't relevant, you can just do a new search right here, just like I did.
Okay, and then it's going to pull in some different options just to give you some additional things. So maybe if you weren't quite right on your first go around, you can kind of refine it a little bit more, especially in those. I can imagine this would be very helpful in those categories where the main keyword is dominated by big brands, right? And you're looking for more of those like smaller private label brands that are like more like you, but the keywords are probably really similar to the big brands. But you don't necessarily want to compete with, that big brand right there. So I love this option to expand it.
Yeah, and then also if you don't have, because you need to choose at least 6 of them. If there wasn't 6 options in that first set of options, you can do this to get more. So as you can see here, I have 8 selected, and then the more the better. And then after that is all selected. Go ahead, Amy.
And how many can you select? So you have 8 selected, and you said the more the better. What's the maximum number that you can select here?
So the maximum is 10.
Okay, perfect.
And so this is our training set right here. So what we will feed into the AI, it goes and it pulls down content from all of these listings. And that's just how we generate all of the text and the keywords.
Cool.
And now here we are at step 6. And you know your product best, so you would enter in all of your main features here for your product for the bullets section. So then you just plug it in here, as I have done previously, as you can see. Then click next. And now this is step 7. This is one of my favorite sections, because now you're telling our AI what keywords you do not want us to show in your listing. So you're refining now, making your listing, telling the AI, I need to refine the listing here a bit better, and this is what I need to take out. I don't want this to show up in what you're going to show me. So
now, does this exclusion include your back end keywords as well? Or is it just the front end keywords that show up in like your title and your bullet points?
It's back end and front end.
Okay, cool. So especially if you want to avoid like words that might be flagged, that might flag your product as a pesticide or an adult product or something like that, because AI might still pull in those words, because you can still rank for certain words using external traffic, stuff like that. So it may automatically pull in those words. And so it's probably good to know the restrictions in your category, as well as, what you can't put in your listing here. And yeah, I see some brand names too here. Are those some brand names that it pulls out too? So
we could back up a bit to actually what you're saying about the restricted keywords, and we actually pull those out for you. So any of those keywords that Amazon flags you for, pesticides, products, we go ahead and remove those without you even having to tell us. But as we know, Amazon is always surfacing new restricted keywords. So for example, if this restricted keyword is showing up in what the AI spits out, we encourage our users to tell us like, hey, this keyword is now a flagged keyword in Amazon, and then we can just put that into the list to take out for you guys.
Got it. Very cool.
And it does, yeah, you're right, Amy. Like there are brands in here, and so you would go in and just click on the brands as well, just to keep those out of your listing.
Perfect.
And for example, I chose, I selected white here because I just want, I'm selling a black mask. And then also, if you have some that aren't shown up here, you can just go ahead and add your own right in here. So after that, go ahead and click next, and then choose a tone. I selected witty. Click next. We also have friendly, professional, all of those. And then when it's all done, all the information will be shown on this right side here. You just want to make sure everything is correct. And then to process the listing, a lot of people click save draft, but that's just to save it. But to get the listing processed, you want to click the Let's Go button right here.
Count it. Let's go.
Let's go. That's right. And then roughly a couple minutes later, you will have, it takes you to this page and it shows you, the loading here. You can stay on this page if you want. You don't have to sit here and watch the water boil. You can just go to your dashboard if you want, or go somewhere else. You can make another listing if you like. What I like to do is just go to the dashboard. Here it is. This is the one I submitted, and then this is the one I created earlier. So I'm gonna go to this one. You can just click on it here.
What's the average processing time for most listings?
We shoot for under 5 minutes, but on average, it's probably closer to like 2 minutes, 30, 2:45.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically because what we do is we do all the keyword research. We pull down all the listings. We analyze all the content from the listings that you've selected from the ASINs. We generate content, and then we scan that content to make sure all the prohibited terms aren't in there. And then we kind of rinse and repeat. So it's very processing intensive, which is why it takes a few minutes to generate these things.
Got it. All right, all you guys who just ordered a listing from Amazing at Home, don't go running off to PowerListing now. No, just kidding. Awesome. So we're looking now at the drafted listing, the listing that AI has generated for us based on our inputs, right?
Correct. So this is the final product here. And you have all of these different tabs up here. We show you all of the keywords first. So the keywords is the first tab, and this is showing you what are the most important keywords that you must have in your product based on all the data we have processed and have collected over time. So we show you the single words, the seed keywords here, the most important seed keywords, and then also the most important phrases. And then we go ahead and we plug in a listing for you already that we recommend, and you can see what keywords have been used already. And let me go over to the titles. I'll go through each of the sections really quick first, and then get into the right side, which is your workspace. So we surface 5 versions of the titles, bullets, and descriptions. So you can mix and match these things. You can take it, as is here and plug it over to the title, or you can just kind of go through and see which ones fit your brand best or your brand's voice best. And we show you the total amount of search volume. So if you're looking at the total amount of search volume, usually for my listings, I like to select the highest amount of search volume with the highest amount of character count, because I know this is going to bring the most eyeballs to my listing. So we surface that one that has the highest volume at the top. And then if you want to plug it over, say, for example, you didn't like what we recommended here, you can leave it in or you can erase it. But just to show you how this works, if you want to copy it over here, just click copy to work area. So that's going to copy it over. And then same thing with the bullets. They behave the same way. So
got it. So I can type over things if I want to too. Mm-hmm. So I can delete it out, copy to work area, and you're showing me on the left all the different options that I have based on what AI is pulled in from different listings. And now one of the things that I see happening a lot on Amazon, which I know might be a question here, and I see you guys are asking questions in the chat and we love them. We're going to totally take them in just a second. But one of the big problems I'm sure you guys are aware of is if you use too many words from a competitor's listing, they can actually file a copyright notice against you, right? An infringement notice against you, and they can get your listing shut down. So do we have to worry about that with this? Do we have to be careful about copying from another listing? Is that what this is doing, or is it jumbling it up enough?
So actually, this is where we feel like our job is to get you to 80 to 90% complete. The AI with keyword research, we can get you 99% there. But with the content writing, well, this is where somebody like you, like Amazing at Home, will come in. We still need that human touch, right? You still need that extra layer of security of somebody just to first of all to make sure that that the content is all fitting together properly and it's on brand, right? And if there are specifications, like that's done properly as well. That because the AI is just going to give you a stub, and it's going to say, oh, like if you're selling a computer that's 14-inch monitor, it may say 12-inch monitor. So those details need to be accurate, right? Of course. So we will not be able to replace the human being. So in the same situation, somebody with the knowledge of, oh, hey, these are certain things we need to avoid, should come in and step in and say, yeah, actually, like we're using too many of the keywords from our competitors. But by and large, like all the content that you're getting back from the AI is all unique. It's 100% plagiarism free. We're not like pulling things from other listings. We're just actually learning from them. And then we're generating English, French, Spanish, Italian, and German out of that.
And it's just like if you write your own listing, you could do the same thing. A lot of times people get copyright infringements and they literally did not copy from anybody else. They just wrote a sentence that happened to be the same sentence as somebody else, right? So I agree, like you can be as careful as you can be. And then at the end of the day, like, there's no perfect solution. You just want to make sure that overall you're kind of putting a human eye on it. And what I love that you guys did too, is you actually show the titles of competitors early in the listing creation process. So you could even screenshot that, and when you're going through to review your listing, I guess that's what I would do. I do a lot of screenshotting, right? When I'm going through to create my final title, I now have a whole screenshot of all these competitors' titles, and I can change mine up. I can look at it all at once. And we already do that manually at Amazing at Home. We take screenshots of all like the top competitors' titles, and then we pull in what we like and what we don't like. So I love how your tool does that. It automatically shows me with a little picture of the product. And I could use that to make sure that I'm just being really careful about the copyright infringement as well.
Yeah, you just gave me an idea to actually, I was thinking like how, as a technologist, how can I actually make your job easier so you don't have to like flip back and forth between screenshots? So I'm going to actually take a note down and built the Amy feature, which is like, show me all the titles again, so you don't have to screenshot it. And of course, if you want to export it, we can do that too. So I'm gonna just jot a note on that one.
Yay! There's lots of Amazon software with Amy features. Trust me.
We're gonna call it the Amy feature, right, Mark?
I love it.
Love it. Okay, so we kind of do the same thing with our bullet points, our descriptions. Now, show me the description. Do you guys do like paragraph breaks and stuff in your description?
We do not add any HTML because right now, I believe in the terms of service of Amazon, we stay within the terms of service.
Yeah.
And if you want to go ahead and do that, go for it. I have HTML.
Yeah, so you can still use, I wouldn't use HTML, but you can still, Amazon style guidance says that you can still use the break. And so you could just add those in. So
right.
that would be okay. But I agree, we shouldn't be using like bolding or any other like HTML fun stuff there.
You're correct.
Gotta keep it boring, but overall. Yeah, so another potential Amy feature is you could have a little copy of the break symbol, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I love it, you guys. This is really, really great. And then back-end terms. Can we cover that?
Sure.
Can we look at what you're doing in your back-end terms and where do these come from? These are recommended back-end terms. I see that you have 250 bytes, which is Amazon's restriction. They don't do characters, they do bytes. And I see that you have the perfect format here, word space, word, because we don't want to use commas or symbols because those take 2 bytes, everybody. So
yes.
I love it. So how are the back-end keywords that are suggested here? How is AI pulling those for us?
So these are just the leftover words, basically from everything else that we have pulled together. Because when you put it in your back-end terms, you don't want to duplicate anything. Yes. So that's
would you mind just showing off something too? So just go to back-end terms and bring all the terms over. So a couple of things I want to highlight here. One is that we'll cut it off, right? And then 2 is you can see that there's some red highlights in there, right? Those red highlights tell you that you've used that word already in your listing above. And so as we're pulling in, so the keywords come from the keyword research that we've done, and these are actually what we call seed terms, right? Like, so one word term, but these are actually linked to various pages that the other products have showed up on. So it's not like we're just sort of throwing some keywords up there. Like we kind of did some due diligence for you, and we're pulling in like the terms of the products that you selected as similar products, and including your own. These are all like very like long tail terms that you can take advantage of. And then at the bottom where it says already used keywords, those are the ones that are kind of on the leftover side. So if you didn't use them in the listing above, and there's opportunity for you to use them below, that set comes from all of the suggestions from above as well.
Awesome. Well, we have a ton of questions. I think in terms of your dashboard, you showed us what we could do here with everything in the listing. You showed us the process. In the dashboard, you can save all of your listings. So I would love to answer some questions. What do you guys think?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yes. So I just want to say hi. Carla says hello.
Hey,
Aaron
Carlos
says hello.
Hey, guys.
Ryan says, "G'day, guys. This looks very cool. Definitely will be trying it out."
Hey, Ryan.
And let's move on. And Troy wants to know, is this at merchantwords.com? So this is actually at PowerListing.com, right? But I think you guys have a link to it on Merchant Words too.
We do.
That's right.
But Amy has a discount for you guys. So
I do.
You go to her link, which will be posted soon. I don't know when it's going to be posted. And I believe it was correct me if I'm wrong, PowerListing.com/amazing, I think.
Partners/amazing.
Partners/amazing.
Yeah, so I will show my special link for you guys to save 70% off, and I'll put that in the ticker now, and we'll continue going through the questions here. So Troy says, is there an API available to submit and retrieve listing information through?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I would love to get a little bit more clarity, Troy, on kind of that question. It's a good one. So what I'm hearing is that whether or not like you can retrieve like just so basically send in data through API and then we do our work and then post back a completed listing. If that's what you're asking, we can certainly put that on our roadmap because that's a really interesting thing. I think because we recognize and respect that people have their own internal systems and software that they like to use. Our job, like I said, is just to kind of get you all of the keywords and all the research there. So the other side, like if that's not what you're asking, if you just kind of want to export and push it to Seller Central, we have the ability to export right now to a flat file, but then eventually what we want to do is connect to Seller Central accounts so that you can basically manage all of your, our goal here is to automate your Amazon SEO. So, what we want to do is I think the best case scenario would be to connect to your seller account, and then we would just submit updates to you, and then you would of course want to approve it.
Okay, so wait a second, you guys. You export the listing to a flat file already for them?
Yes. So we have it set up exactly how Amazon asks for it. So each bullet separated in its own column, title, description, and so forth. And we did that here. We downloaded the actual file from Amazon and then replicated it right here. So you just download it and you have the flat file. Or you can, of course, copy and paste it into your Seller Central account if you like. But to do it at scale and you are familiar with doing it with the flat file, just export it here. And like Mark said, we we have it on the roadmap to go ahead and try to get this just the click of a button plugged right into your Amazon listing without having to do any other work. Soon.
Very cool. And Zia wants to know, can we have a recording of this session to watch later if we miss some? Don't worry, Zia. It's on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, so you can rewatch anytime after the session. And Sarah wants to know, what is the pricing on this? the big question always. You guys are going to save some money using my affiliate link here, but did you guys want to explain the pricing model of how you can create listings and how many you can create?
Yep. So a couple things that we did here. One is we recognize that there are, with listing writing, having built their own listing writing business as well, like there's ups and downs to the business, right? Sometimes you have dozens and dozens of listings to write per month. Sometimes you can take it easy. So what we have is a monthly subscription, and you choose kind of what's best for your business. But whatever credits, so the monthly subscription allows you to have a certain amount of credits. And whatever you don't use gets rolled over to the next month. So you'll just continue to accrue these things and these credits, and you can use them at your leisure. And then for yours, so what you're looking at here is our pricing page. But as we mentioned earlier, there's a preferential pricing for everybody for Amazing at Home. And on that link we'll share with you, it's $69 for 5 listings a month. And then, like I said, there's that rollover aspect of it. And then of course, like we're constantly adding to this every single week. We just pushing something out today, as a matter of fact, some new updates. And so, this thing will be changing quite a bit over the next few months.
Love it. Okay, very cool. Yeah, and now let's say that I'm just testing it out. Let's say I sign up for the $39 plan and I'm just playing around testing it out. Does that count as one of my listings, or can I play around and test it without it counting, or how does that work? Like, do I have to be careful about what listing I create with it?
Yeah, so the credits, as you create one, because it's, like I said, it's a very expensive process for us to generate each one of these listings. Yeah. But if you do make a mistake, just let us know. Like we'll work with you. We're not, our goal is to make your, like I said, to make your life easier. And so if you genuinely made a mistake, just reach out to us. We can help out and we can fix the errors for you.
Perfect. So it's that generate button that is going to count as one of your listings. So you could play around here up until generate and kind of get the feel for it. It's just when you hit that generate button, of course, you're actually then using your listing credit to generate the listing. So got it. That makes sense. Very good. Well, I think we've covered all of the questions, and we are showing the affiliate link. So I think that pretty much covers it. I just want to thank you guys so much. I'm going to bring us back to the middle here. I want to thank you guys so much for coming today. And I know we had this actually scheduled for earlier, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be in Europe at Seller Sessions Live during this time. So these guys were so nice to reschedule with me, and we're able to bring this to you guys today. Thank you guys so much for being here and taking the time. And of course, reaching out to me and letting me try PowerLister. It was so much fun, creating a listing with this, and as a copywriter too, and an SEO expert, like seeing all the way you guys have used the keywords, you've really created an awesome product that isn't like any of the other listing creation products that I've seen out there. So well done with that. I love all of your options. And when you add the Amy features, let me know, I can play with them.
We're not trying to take your job, Amy. We're not trying to take any of the copywriters' jobs. This is to help people with tons of SKUs. And even, those are the power users, and copywriters help them do their job better and quicker and to scale. And you can even, put it in an SOP for your VAs to go ahead and start creating listings. Like, for example, I have a VA that I taught PowerListing, and she creates some of my listings for me through PowerListing. And she's like, she said, this is all I have to do. This is so easy. So, I mean, you can get your VAs to create tons and tons of listings every single day if you need to. So.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's very smart. When I first started copywriting, I had certain businesses that would reach out and they'd be like, we have 1,200 SKUs. Can you write listings for us? And I'm like, I don't think I'm your girl. Like, I don't think that's for me. No.
Now you don't even have to blink at that. You could smile at the business that is coming in and say, hey, I have PowerListing. Let's do it. Give me 5,000 SKUs. I can do it with 10 variations each. Done.
Yeah. Exactly. Amazing. Well, thank you guys again so much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for listening, for all your questions, for checking out PowerListing. And thank you just so much, everyone, for tuning in every time and supporting us. All right. So until next time, we'll see you guys next week. And thanks again, guys, for being here.
Thanks everybody. It's been a pleasure.
Much appreciated.
Thank you, Amy.